Do you wake up in the morning in a panic that you don't have enough hours in the day to do everything that you need to do? And you find that when you finish one task, you can't rest. You have to move straight on to the next one. And even though you put in all of this work to grow your following, it doesn't seem to then translate into sales. And you just get stuck in this never-ending cycle of work, work, work. Creators, social media influencers, personal brands, whatever name you use, make 7 massive mistakes every day that could cause a tremendous amount of stress, eat up all of their time, and hold them back from being able to turn their following into sales of some kind. So in this video, I'm going to show you 7 of the most harmful mistakes creators make every day and how to solve them to give you more time, less stress, and more sales. And if you're watching this, I'd love to know how many of the next 7 things you go through every day in the comments. I'm going to hazard a very arrogant guess that it's all 7. So the first epic mistake is chasing vanity metrics. What do you want to be? Someone who's popular online, or someone who earns a living from their following? Now, some people might just want to be popular online in the beginning and grow their following, and then when they get traction and suddenly realize how much work it is to maintain this popularity, they suddenly realize you've got no choice but to make money from it because you simply don't have the time to make content and make a living. Which means you've got to stop obsessing over likes and views and all of those things that only grow your following, and relist your priorities. Because likes don't pay your bills, I'm afraid, or buy your Prada, or cool Bitcoin t-shirts. Now, you're probably nodding your head along right now and agreeing, but in order to actually do something about this, you need to write down a priority list. Because I can bet you that in the evening when you sit down on your sofa and suddenly end up looking at how well your content's performed, and you start to beat yourself up when you realize your latest release didn't do that well. And then you get stuck in this downward spiral of stress and forget what really matters again. So that's the first one. You simply need to catch yourself getting distracted by the wrong metrics. Which leads us on to the second deadly sin: priorities. Creative people will always want to make something new. That's just how our brains work. We like making stuff and we get excited by the thought of a new project. So we naturally gravitate towards new, shiny things. And that's actually scientific. That's why you want to start a new YouTube channel, write a book, make a podcast, post to Instagram, or create a website, design and sell t-shirts, start another business. And you end up with this huge to-do list, which no matter how much you try, never ends up getting done, and worse, it all then just distracts you from the things you should actually be doing. And as humans, we only want to do the things we like doing, which means accounts and sales and admin always get pushed to the back of the line whilst you convince yourself you've got to make some more content. The result of this is you feel overwhelmed by it all and you beat yourself up when you don't see a progress in sales. Now, to get around this, it's a really easy fix and it will straight away make you feel better. It's to have a cup of tea. So write down all of the ideas you want to do on a sheet like this and then order them in list of priority. Then you can put a time frame on each of them. So I want my website ready to launch in 6 months. Next year, I'm going to start a podcast. In 18 months, I'm going to start looking at making a merchandise. Space them out so you don't put time pressures on yourself. The fear you have is that you need to do everything now. You do not. It's not possible either, but by having a timeline like this, you can see straight away, okay, I've got the next 2 months to make my website, and suddenly it's crystal clear what the priority is and the thing you need to focus on with the time you do have spare. Then, within those larger projects, there are smaller tasks within them. So what we tend to find is that every month there are about 5 what I would call critical tasks. These are new things that we need to do to progress sales and move the business forward and that project. And then there are another 10 ongoing marketing tasks that need to be done throughout the month as well. Of course, we don't have time to do them all. So once again, we make a doc and list in order the priority of these tasks that will generate sales, not just new online friends. The ones at the top of the list that really will have the biggest short-term impact, you make red. And you can't do any of the others on your list until the top dark red ones are done. What you're going to realize is the tasks in dark red are the ones you least want to do, the stuff you've been putting off for weeks because it's not fun, creative stuff. And you're probably just a little unsure of it, so there's a bit of fear behind them too. The thing about this is, they will finally get done because when you say to yourself, okay, what do I do now? Your list makes it flipping obvious. The next sin is time. You don't have any time spare to do anything, do you? Because all of your time is eaten up making content, which then stops you from doing all of the previous tasks. As a creator, the number one thing to do is to value your time. Now, there's only one of you, so every second you have really does count, which means the first thing to do is to look at how much time you spend making content and then how much time you actually have left to create a business that makes money. If you find that most of your time is spent making content and interacting with your followers, you might have to slow it down a bit to make time to actually make some money. One way to speed this all up is to get into batch content production, which you might have heard before. Now, this means dedicating a day or an afternoon to just making content. So split your planning time up from your actual creative time, because it's a completely different mindset. If you jump from planning something on paper to making it, then come back to plan the next thing and then make it, you will wear yourself out. It's just not how our brains work. So set aside 2 hours to plan your content, then either leave it or spend the rest of the day making it and make enough to last at least a week. Personally, I write videos in the morning and then I just stop because it uses pretty much all of my brain power. In a week, I might be able to write 12 scripts, giving 2 hours a day, 8 AM to 10 AM Monday to Friday. Then Friday, I'll film the whole lot. I can film 17 videos in a day, no problem. Well, I say that, it destroys me. By doing this, I've only got to set up lights and kit and mics once. So this video you can see now takes about half an hour to set up. If I do it once and film 12 videos, my setup time for those 12 videos is half an hour. If I film the videos one by one, my setup times for those 12 videos is 6 hours. So by batching content, you not only stay in the right frame of mind, but you make things way quicker and better. This is the tough part. You've got to hand over editing to someone else. You are the star of your show. Your time is valuable. Put an hourly rate on your time. Every time you earn more than that rate in an hour, that then becomes your new hourly rate. Once you've valued your time, you'll realize that you're really worth $400 an hour. So paying someone to free up 20 hours of your editing time a month means you can earn $8,000 extra by paying someone $500 to do that work. It might seem scary parting with your cash, but I guarantee you it won't take long for that extra time you have to translate back into cash, because it will allow you to work on your priority list, the things that actually make you money, and editing doesn't result in money. The fourth sin is focus. Now, in the words of Mr. Miyagi from Karate Kid, focus Daniel-san. I'd be willing to bet that if you turned off your phone, shut yourself away from anyone else, you in 2 hours would do more in that time than you usually do in a day. Focus is like pushing a giant snowball across a field. So when you push a snowball, you've got to lean into it and it feels heavy, and then suddenly it starts to move, and then the snowball starts rolling, and then pushing it feels a lot easier. That's exactly the same as how focus works. It takes our mind a little while to get into the zone. If something then stops the snowball from moving, you don't just push it easily again, you have to go through the entire struggle of pushing that snowball to get it moving across the field. So when your phone goes off and you look, you've lost momentum. When someone talks to you, you lose momentum. When you watch pings, you lose momentum. Now this book, called Hyperfocus, explains the whole focus thing well, so make sure you can just find some you time to work on your business. The fifth sin is passive income, or a lack of it. Now I hate this phrase so much, but for creators, like I said earlier, you are the star of your show. You cannot outsource someone to appear in your content for you, which means that unlike regular businesses, a team of people can't do 100% of your work for you whilst you just sit there and roll around in cash. It should be your top priority to create digital products that sell whilst you sleep. T-shirts and merchandise and all of that stuff might require you to post and package things. You can outsource that, but ideally, you want to make some stuff that people buy online and download and get value from it without you ever needing to step in. Now, my next video is going to cover ideas for digital products to help you out. So subscribe, I guess. That was half-hearted. Otherwise you cap your potential, I'm afraid, and there is no cap on how many people can buy your digital things. And also, when you have these things, it makes not focusing on vanity metrics easier, because the periods where you feel like your account is growing really slow could actually see some of your best ever sales. And when you post a piece of content that mentions a product and sales fly in, you'll also have a newfound enthusiasm for making content too. The next sin is not knowing your audience. I touched on this in a previous video. This is the main reason you won't grow your accounts or make any money. You have to know who the people are that are gonna buy your products and services to a scary level. Establish their personality types, their political views, how much they earn, what's their favorite film, their books, what other creators they like. I could go on for the rest of the lifespan of YouTube's videos. Now, you will find this hard to work it out because you're gonna have tons of ideas and loads of people you wanna appeal to. But it is crucial. This is the #1 killer for marketing and sales. #1, and it's the reason there are so many creators out there with 6-figure plus followings who make absolutely no money from them at all, apart from praying that a brand comes in to sponsor them with some teeth whitening kits. And the 7th deadly sin is the fear of failing. The best thing you will ever do is fail. So I spent 8 years failing at almost everything I did when it came to marketing and sales. And as a result, it now means I know what not to waste my time on and what works best for my businesses, which gives you focus. Focus, Daniel-san. So when you try new things and they work every time, you never know what direction will be the best in the long run. I'm dying to find something that falls flat on its face so we can say, cool, that didn't work. Let's devote our time to these areas now because we know that they do. and try and get more from them. But you don't learn much by getting things right because it might be a fluke, and the one thing you did get right didn't teach you to avoid the 99 other critical things you didn't. So if you've got something on your priority sheet that you're not doing because you're worried it might fail, well, I hope it does, because that's how you're gonna learn. They say you are either earning or learning, and that's the best mindset to get you through the roller coaster of business, and it's kept me sane-ish through years of non-stop failure, and eventually you'll probably find not much phases you, and suddenly you're Elon Musk. So if you want to learn more about monetizing your following, this video here will talk you through a step-by-step system that will help you do just that.